Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Do It For Yourself. So today I'm going to show you step by step how to install a FRANTZ Oil Pass filter system for my 2007 5.9 liter 2500 Dodge diesel truck. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take off this plastic wheel well insert over the tire because I want to be able to see exactly where my my output line is going into the oil cap, and I just don't want any hiccups down the road. Now you don't need to do that. You don't need to do this part of it. I presume most people don't do this, okay? But I'm a little anal retentive when it comes to things like this because I don't want a mistake. I don't want to get my lines close to anything hot, and I want to make sure that I get a clean install for this job. You want to do it right the first time. So there are some 8mm screws that are all the way around this outer edge of the plastic insert over the tire, and then you've got some screws on the inside. This is a very easy insert to take out, guys. It's very simple, so don't be intimidated by it. Once you get all the screws off, you can easily just drop it just like that, okay? And you can see where the screws go. You have one here, one here, one here, one there. I believe one there. You got one over here, a couple on the outside edge of this plastic wheel well, and that's it. Okay, so we're going to set this to the side, and then I'm going to give you a closer look at the inside of this wheel well, and then you'll understand why I want it to be, I want to get a good view of exactly where my lines are going to run. Okay, so there's the oil filter, okay, there's my turbo, and this is a line that's going to be running from the oil cap all the way down to the base filter bypass system, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install the bracket. And I'm going to show you exactly where to install it for this year, make, and model. Okay, so the first thing you need to do for this kit is install the bracket. And so what I did was, well, first let me say that the kit comes with 3 self-tapping type screws. However, you'll still need to drill pilot holes for these if you're going into iron and maybe even metal of some kind. I decided not to use these because I don't have a lot of faith in them. I mean, they're probably good enough, but I didn't want to risk it. So what I did was I went out and I purchased 2 5x16 by 18 1-inch grade 8 bolts. All right, I think they're a lot stronger. I think they'll hold better, and so that's why I got those instead. I also purchased a 17 by 64-inch cobalt bit. This will allow me to drill into the iron so that I can tap it once I'm done. And when I say tap, this is what I mean by tap. I'm going to go out and this tap here is a 5/16" by 18 tap. And this is what's going to allow me to create the thread I'm going to need after I have drilled the bit into the iron. All right. And you don't need to get this whole setup. You can get something like this, a T-handle with a tap wrench. And then ask the guy for a 5/16 by 18-inch tap, which is what this is here. Okay? Last but not least, you want to make sure you use the thread sealant that they provide when screwing these in. Otherwise, you defeat the purpose of getting these bolts and doing it that way. So make sure you put the thread lock on first. Now we're going to go through the whole demonstration on this first part here, and then after that we will go to the second part of this demonstration. Here is my compressor on this 5.9 liter, and here is a piece of iron that the compressor is screwed into. I'm going to place the bracket right here to seem like a pretty good spot for it. And I saw another video that showed a demonstration on this make, year, and model for the same spot. So let's go ahead and mark it. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, right there. And you want to mark the hole right. And I'll show it to you once I get it marked so you know kind of what we're doing here. Yeah, right there. Okay. Okay, so we got one there, and we got one there. Yeah. I think that'll work. Let's mark it a little better. Right there. And right there. Okay, so as you can see, I have the two, where I'm going to drill my two holes for the bolts that I was showing you. And so now we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so now grab yourself a 5/16 inch bit so you can drill this hole out. I've already drilled out with a smaller bit. Now I'm going to come back with a 5/16. I should have dealt with a 5/16 from the start. But... Okay, that's one side. Let's do the other now. I've already started this hole here. I've got to sharpen my bit. This is kind of a pain in the butt. All right. So I'm going to take this off and put it on something a little more stable because it just keeps tipping down every time I try drilling into it. So I'm going to put it on my table here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. You can't really see it, but that's okay. You get the gist of what I'm trying to do here. So let me finish drilling this hole and then we'll... Okay. Oh, not good enough. Okay. Jeez Louise. Okay. So now those two holes we made in the bracket, and guys, make sure you wear goggles for this job. Okay, that's very important. So anyway, the two holes we made, we're going to mark with a felt pen or something. Okay. All right. So get it in the right spot, and I'm going to do a little mark there and a little mark there. Okay. Now we have both our marks here. We're going to drill. Oh, my hands are sweating. Now I've got a smaller bit here to start with. I'm going to drill a little bit with the smaller bit. Oh, that's not it. There we go. All right. So we're just going to start a pilot hole. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, just like that. Got a lot of metal shavings coming down on me. So okay, just a second, guys. All right, I was saying I got a lot of metal shavings coming down. Here we go. Okay, we got that one started. Okay, so now we're going to switch the bit out, and you don't have to start with a smaller bit. I just do it for extra insurance to make sure that my bit doesn't slip off or anything, but we've created us 2 smaller holes here, all right? I don't think you can see that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the camera closer to the hole so you can see. Okay, hopefully you can see that. See this here? That's one hole. I don't know if it's focusing the way it should. And that's the other hole that I started. And it looks a little blurry, I'm sorry, but you get the gist, okay? So now we're gonna go ahead and drill. We're gonna use our 1764 bit to finish it off. Okay, just a second here, guys. All right. So let me make sure we're in the right spot. There we go. All right. And let's bring it in a little closer. All right, there we go. Ooh. There we go. All right, cool. Trying to find a place for my mic to go. All right, so now we got our, let's make sure this is our 1764. Come on, where's the reading on this puppy? 1764. Yeah, because you only get one chance at this, guy. So make sure you drill the right bit into this metal, okay? Go ahead and put this on the end of my drill. Okay. Let's bring it back a little bit. All right, so now, let me get my goggles on. I'm going to finish it off. Now, the thickness of this metal is about 1/2 inch. So just go nice and easy until you get through a little bit, okay? Nice and easy. Okay, it's going to take a little bit. Make sure you get a good sharp bit. In fact, I'd even get 2 bits in case one goes bad. I can feel it going through. All right, so what I'm going to do, guys, is you get the gist of it. I'm going to cut this video short, and then we're going to go to the, we're going to thread the holes. We'll be right back. If you have any cutting oil, go ahead and put some on the tap. It won't hurt it. In fact, it'll make it easier to screw it in, but oh, come on. I know this looks a lot difficult than it really is, but I know it looks difficult, but it really isn't. If you've got the right tools to do this job, it goes very smoothly. Okay, so here we go. So now I've got the tap into the hole. These are the two holes I made here. I know you can't see it real close because my hand's in the way, but you kind of get the idea. I'm going to go slow. I'm going to start it off slow, and I'm going to give it some pressure. Just like this. And you'll feel it. You'll feel the resistance. All right, so what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to bring the camera closer now that I have it in there. Oh, I don't know if you could see that. Okay, so there it is there. I've already got it in there now. So now I can do it with one hand if I want or whatever, okay? So I'm just gonna want to make sure that the top is straight. You want to go in second, and you'll know when it's done it'll go all the way through this one piece here because it's only about a ½ an inch. That's when you know you're done because it'll go in really smooth and really quick. Okay. I'm still getting lots of resistance here, but that will end. Okay, now it's going in nice. See how easy it is now? Now I know I've gone all the way through to the point where now I can just turn it by hand. Sorry for the movement of the camera, but in order for me to get you to really see how this works, I don't have a choice. All right. And so now I'm going to clean the hole out a little bit. I have a little tool just to clean the inside of it. Make sure you clean the inside of the threads. Buy one of those little burring tools, to just something to scrape the inside out, because you just don't want to put the bolt in there the way it is. You want a good seating. Okay, so now we're at the next step. What I'm going to do is, the kit comes with these 45-degree brass fittings. And I find that using these two that it comes with is going to work best for the base filter, the bypass filter. So as you can see, I've got one labeled in, so there's no confusion here, and one fitting, another fitting 45 degree labeled out. I'm going to take the fitting 45 degree in filter, or brass fitting, and put it into the in hole. Okay, so but before I do that, I'm going to add a little, and I think, let's see here, I want to make sure, because when I put it in, I want to make sure that the fittings are facing a certain direction. So when you place this filter, once you get your bracket in there, place the filter in position and then figure out which way you want the filters facing, because you're going to tighten them in that direction. So I think mine are going this way, but let me confirm this. Okay, so yeah, the way these fittings are orientated are correct. So I'm having the hole face this way. And when you do this for your vehicle, you're going to have to determine the best way to orientate these fittings. But for me, this works the way it is. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this sealant here. Now I'm going to put it into the in port. I've already got one in the out port, and I'm going to go into the in port. And I know which way I want them facing. I want them facing this way. And I could go around one more time, but I think that that would be pushing it. Okay, so now they also come with these male, they're like hose barb fittings. Okay, these are the fittings that this hose is going to slip on. So let me make sure. Hopefully that's a tight enough seal around here. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and place a little bit of sealant on this one. And then as you turn it, the sealant will work its way around the, not good enough. Hold on a second, guys. Let's spread that out. Use my, okay. All right, let's get toward the end here because, there we go. So now we're going to go ahead and so the way you want to tighten these fittings is make sure you get a wrench on this part here. And then find yourself an 11 millimeter socket and then just turn it until it's nice and tight. Don't overdo it, just get it. Okay. Now we're going to do the second hose barb. Okay. And we're going to work our way into that. I'm going, this here is the out that we're putting this hose barb onto. Come on, get in there. There we go. Whew. Okay, so now what you need to do is take out the old oil cap or the OEM oil cap from the fill hole and replace it with the oil cap that they gave you, because this has the special fitting on it. It should come to you already with the fitting sealed and ready to go. Okay, this O-ring that they have around this this cap here is kind of thick, so it may be a little hard to put on because it's a fresh O-ring, and you know, you want to make sure that the base of this lip here is flush up against the top of this oil fill cap area, or hole I should say. So we're going to go ahead and put it in, and I want this facing this way because that's where my holes are going to be directed. Already it's kind of hard to put on. Okay. So at this point, what I'm going to have to do, which I don't want to do, but I'm going to have to do it, is put a wrench around that fill cap. Over time, that O-ring will work itself a little better, and it won't be so hard to take on and to take off and put on. But for now, we're going to have to kind of get something a little more than just my hands to turn it. This is, of course, you come across the same problem. All right, so what I'm going to do so I don't ruin that fill cap, just needs to go a little bit, but the problem is that I think even when I go a little bit, this fitting is still not going to be facing in the direction that I would like it to. So let's see what we get. Place this over it like so. I'm going to use a monkey wrench here. That's what I call it. Plumber's wrench, whatever. I'm going to make sure we get a good grip on it and turn it carefully. And you'll feel it. There you go. I can feel it turning. I can see it almost sealing there. Yeah, it's almost there. Oh, I just need to get a little more over. It's that fresh O-ring seal that's stopping it from going over. But it's gonna create a great seal. It's just really hard to turn. You don't want to like. You don't want to ruin the cap, and you don't want to go. So make sure you got a good. Okay, that's kind of where I wanted to go. I think at the very bottom. I don't know. I think that's it. I mean, that's kind of strange. Let's look at the original cap here real quick and see what. Okay, this does have like a little surface here that it should butt up against, and I think that's what I did there. So there's like a little lip here that you want to touch to the very surface of this oil fill cap. You want to make sure that they're touching nice and tight. I'm going to turn it just for good measure, just a little bit, and then look at it and make sure that I think that's it. So there will be a quick disconnect that comes with this kit that already has a male hose bar brass fitting connected to it as well. There's already sealant on it and everything. All you really need to do is connect the hose to this fitting and then make sure you tighten it down with these clips that they give you, okay? So let me just get this in here and then I can show you up close how this is gonna work. Just a second here, folks. Okay. All right, so let me finish this one little section here and then I'll show you what I did. Okay, so that's basically what you want to do. I'm in the sunlight, so it's really hard to tell. See that? So you want to tighten this fitting, this clip onto the hose here, just like so. Okay, so I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, nice. All right. So now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and put the fitting in, just like that, the quick disconnect. Now the next thing to do is this is where you have to figure out how you want to run your hose, and this is the other reason why I pulled off that plastic wheel well section, because I wanted to see where this hose was going, and I didn't want any confusion. So what I'm going to do is I kind of know how I want to route this hose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to route it, and this is something that you will probably have to figure out, but I find that for this truck, routing it show you here in a minute. Routing it where the air filter is. Let's bring this over so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Whoop. I'm showing everything but what I'm supposed to show. Okay. That's probably pretty good, actually. All right, can you guys see it? Can you? Oh, sorry. Can you see that? So I've actually got this hose going down here, and then we're going to. I've got it up and around a certain pipe area, and I'll show you where that is. Okay. See? And this is the reason why I wanted the plastic out, so that I could see where it was going. And now I know that I'm going to go ahead and put a tie wrap here, and I'll show you the type of tie wraps that I use for this job. I don't use plastic ones. Plastic ones are the worst wraps you can use for jobs like this. And then I'm going to run it down and then cut off the excess. Once I get that hose to my return line and I figure out, and it's in the perfect spot, I'm going to cut it and then run another section of that blue hose from the oil filter port on top of the oil filter port down to the in return. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, so now that I've routed the first line that's going to my output brass fitting, I'm going to take some of this plastic loom that they provided, and what I did was I measured it to the same length as the hose that I ended up cutting, and I'm going to go ahead and run it through just like this. I don't know if it'll work. Okay. And you do want this on, guys, because if it touches anything hot by mistake, which hopefully if you get things tied down properly, none of this hose should touch anything hot, then this will be some protection. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and reroute it back the way that I did the first time. And so let me show you. I'm going to set this camera all the way down so you can see exactly. Okay. Oh my gosh. If I had a cameraman, I wouldn't have to do all this, guys. If you like my channel and you subscribe, maybe someday I can get to a point where I could have somebody hold the camera for me. But right now, I can't. Okay. Sorry about that. Bear with me. Ooh. This is getting harder and harder here. Okay. So you can kind of see this is why I wanted the plastic rear wall off, because now let's get this out of here. And again, you don't have to take the plastic off. Believe me, it's not that hard to do. Okay, and now I'm going to run it down here. I already know the route that I'm going because I figured all that out earlier. Okay. All right. So we're going to cut it short, and then we're going to go to the next step. Okay, guys. So in the instructions, this part of the installation is supposed to be done like in the second or third step, I believe, but I'm choosing to do it now. It's really up to you. You can follow the instructions and do it step by step, where this port bolt is supposed to come off so that you could run the line from the feed line from this port bolt hole to the input brass fitting on the base filter. But I chose to do it now, so let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so what I ended up doing was I took this brass fitting out again, then put some thread sealant on this 90-degree brass barb, then screwed it into the 90 brass fitting here, and then I installed it onto the input port filter. Made it a lot easier, guys. Then the instructions show do this first, do the 90 first, and then put in the barb, but that's only if you're going in an angle. If you're using the barb that goes into, that's only if you're using the 45 fitting, because the barb will hit this pipe right here. But in this case, because it was a straight 90, I could install it on it. I could do it this way and it was no problem. Okay, the other thing I wanted to mention was I had to take off my intake filter, air intake system, because, you know, I just couldn't see what I was doing very well, and I wanted, just like with the wheel well, plastic under the wheel well, I wanted a clear path to see exactly what I was doing. Again, there are a lot of guys that won't do this much work, they won't go this far. I'm not one of them. So the other thing I wanted to mention is when you do use tie wraps, don't use the plastic ones. See, right here, I have a metal tie wrap, and you can get these off Amazon. The problem with plastic is that in a short amount of time, they fray, they brittle, especially if you live in a hot climate, and they go bad. And I wouldn't count on those. Plus, they're not very good with heat. So with metal, these are stainless steel tie wraps here that I use. And you can see the pulleys over there. So I don't want this tie wrap ever coming off. And if I use plastic, it could very well come off. Now, this is the way it looks. I didn't even know these existed until I started doing a little research. And they're not that expensive. I think they're like $15, $20 for 50 to 100. So if you can use stainless steel tie wraps in place of plastic, do it. Now let's go underneath the vehicle and show you how I have this all done. Okay, so here's my output port going directly to the oil fill cap. Okay, that's the output. And then my input is going directly to the oil filter input on top of the oil filter. Okay. Now, just a second here. And the finished product looks really good, guys. The last thing I will do is spin this filter off and put in a different filter that I bought from the same company. It's a little bit better than the one that comes with the standard kit. I think the one that comes with the standard kit is a cellulose filter. But I'm going to go ahead and show you here this. Okay, so this runs from here to the output brass fitting. And then again, you have this running into the input brass fitting. And that's why I labeled them. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, my final thoughts on the installation. Well, when I did this video, guys, I just wanted you to get the nuts and bolts on how to install this filtration system for this year, make, and model truck. This same kit is offered, I think, for the Power Stroke. I forget which liter and year, but procedure is more or less the same. If you're mechanically inclined, you should be able to do this no problem. If you're not, you should still be able to do this, but take your time, okay? And look at this video to get some kind of nuts and bolts idea on how to proceed. There was something that didn't quite show like exactly how I was running the lines and all that other stuff, but it's different for every owner. You may not have want to run the lines by the wheel well like I ran it. You might have wanted to run it a different way. But that's how I ran it, and that's where I thought it best fit for the installation. Now, the other thing I purchased with this kit was an extra synthetic filter. And apparently this is supposed to last 2 or 3 times longer and have better flow rate. I don't necessarily change my oil longer because I have a better filter that does that. I'll still change it at 5,000 miles or 6,000 miles. But I like the idea of better flow rate because I have a diesel truck, and I don't know, I felt kind of paranoid by the idea of my engine not getting enough oil. Now the cellulose filter is supposed to be a great filter too, and that's the stock filter that comes with the kit, but you have to make that decision yourself. What I think that would be really cool for the customer with these kits is go ahead and add this, like give the customer the option of switching out the synthetic filter for the cellulose filter. That would be really nice because now I have a cellulose filter that I will never use. I know I won't. And for me, that's more money out of my pocket for no reason. So if Hot-Shot or FRANTZ could change that up, that would be a huge plus on their side. And who knows, it could even sell more product. And the screws. The screws, I didn't use the screws for this installation for obvious reasons, right? Because it was going under the truck, it was going into some steel, and those screws wouldn't serve my purpose. So you may have to go out and wherever you want to install this product, you may have to go out and buy some additional hardware to do it the way that you want to do it. I showed you how I did it. If you have this year, make, and model truck, I think you should not change that up. You should keep it that way because it's in a perfect spot. And they also gave you, they also gave me enough hose to do the job. Like I think I was short by, I wasn't short, but I think I had an extra 1.5 feet. So obviously they did a little homework when they said it was good for this truck, model truck. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. I would ask that you please like and subscribe. I will put links in the description for everything that I use to do this installation, including where you can get the kit off of Hot-Shot's website. I think they're offering a sale, but I don't know for sure. I know I was able to get 10% off just by telling them I had a CDL. But yeah, just click on any of those links to get whatever you need, and we'll see you in the next video.